तेजस्वी नावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Good evening. How are you all doing? Very good. Please see page number 44. The third quote in the page. The earth is enjoyed by heroes. This is the unfailing truth. Be a hero. Always say, I have no fear. Tell this to everybody. Have no fear. Fear is death. Fear is sin. Fear is hell. Fear is unrighteousness. Fear is wrong life. All the negative thoughts and ideas that are in this world have proceeded from this evil spirit of fear. So Swamiji calls fear as evil spirit. Evil spirit means kind of ghost. Fear is the evil spirit. It takes possession of us now and then, but we don't become aware of it. But if we think our fears are genuine, most of the times, if you analyze your mind, you just pass. Do I have to fear this? Is my imagination right? If you put that question to yourself and analyze, you'll find that most of our fears are hypothetical, imaginary, and unfounded. They're hypothetical because of the wrong imagination. Fear is built up. Some perceived threat of loss to something which we have identified. The identification could be with anything. It could be with our wealth, it could be with our power, it could be our position, it could be our success. You've identified with the result outcome, you expect some success. But now actually your mind imagines that you are not going to get that, right? Fear comes. You identified with success, so fear comes. It is this identification with this attachment to things that is actually the root cause of our fear. But fear is a very negative and debilitating emotion. Fear is a negative and debilitating emotion. Most of the times it defeats us in life. That's why Swamiji is stressing on this. If you just see the violence that happens, whenever violence happens, you just see. You just analyze the subconscious mind of the individual. Before he had indulged in that act of violence, some fear took possession of him or her. Because of that, he had acted the way he had acted. Invariably, that is the case. Not only at an individual level, even at a collective level, if you just see. Morning, I was telling to that batch, today in the world, all the countries put together, every year, nearly $2,000 billion we are spending on arms and weapons. We fear Pakistan, Pakistan fears us. We fear China, China fears us. Russia fears America, America fears Russia. So what are we doing? You actually modernize your weapons. Every year, America itself spends around $700 billion per annum on defense. India, a poor country, is also spending nearly $60 billion. China spends $170 billion on defense. Why? Are we not the same humanity? Are we not one family? Are we not the same species inhabiting the one earth? God has not divided earth. God actually has sent us to this world and asked us who we are, his children. My children live as one family. What are we doing? We have divided ourselves, right? On geographical boundaries. What is a country? Just a geographical boundary. It's an imaginary line, right? Does a real boundary exist there? It's an imaginary line, but you just see how strongly you have identified with your nationality. I'm an Indian. Somebody says I'm a Pakistani. So he becomes an enemy. We're just same species, same humanity, just across the border. We make enemies of such people. We consider ourselves educated people. We consider ourselves as progressive. We consider ourselves as modern. We're all living in 21st century. But just see the amount of fear because of excessive identification with one's own nation. How much we are spending for all that is $2,000 billion. If you actually, at least not in $2,000 billion, at least half of that. If you reduce the defense expenditure by half, all the poverty in the world can be eradicated. Employment jobs can be provided to all the people in the world. Just with the wrong identification. Again and again, that's why you need to give this idea and thought that we are all one species. We need to live as one family. And the fears will come down. India can take lead in this because you have been telling for centuries, for millennia, that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, world is one family. We have got this idea. We need to promote it actually and aggressively. World is one family, one humanity, one earth. One humanity, one earth. We are not separate species, right? All the 7.3 or 4 billion human beings are human beings, basically. We are all the same species. We are all children of God. We are all one family. This idea we need to promote more and more. And Swami Vivekananda says, if there is any message that is coming to us from the Upanishads, it is this message of fearlessness. Abhi, be fearless, be fearless. Lead a life of fearlessness. When you don't have to fear death, because death is also because of identification with the physical body. You're so intensely identified with the physical body, and death becomes a thing of fear for us. Because loss, fear is always because sense of loss. I might lose this. What is the ultimate thing that you lose? Body you may lose, but body is not an eternal thing. One day you'll have to give it up. So prepare your mind, just actually because of wrong imagination, because of projection in the mind. Actually, most of the fears you find that they are hypothetical, they are imaginary. What you have feared, the worst that you have imagined, will never come true. Most of the times, it doesn't come true in your life. But you have imagined, and actually you build up fear from within. So if there is any message that's coming to us from the Upanishads, it is fearlessness. That's why Swamiji says that earth is enjoyed by heroes. Who is a hero? An individual who is fearless is a real hero. If at all you have to fear something, fear unrighteousness, fear untruthfulness, fear dishonesty. Okay? If at all you have to fear something, these things, fear actually going back on your pledge, fear you reneging on promise. You have made some promise to somebody and you're not fulfilling that promise. Then you fear. That's a genuine fear. You need to have that. Okay? Fear dishonesty, fear unrighteousness, fear untruthfulness. These are the things that you need to fear if at all you have to fear something. Otherwise, not. Okay? Be fearless and be a hero. Thank you. Have a nice evening.